like a drop of rain in an ocean, like a drop in the sea. But many, many nations still got to learn from we, how we aspire and we achieve. It's so hard to believe the unity that is so unique. It's fantastic, yes, so to speak. It's fantastic, yes, it is, the way how we live as one. In integration, all the nation is second to none. Here the Negroes, the white man, the Chinese, the Indian, we walk together in hand. In this wonderland of Calypso, in this wonderland of steel band.
Good day and welcome to another edition of the Democratic Party Speaks. Today we are coming to you from downtown Port of Spain, where we are trying to find out from the people of Port of Spain what they think of the general feeling in this upcoming election and what part does the Democratic Party have to play in order to win this general election. So as you look around, you would recognize that Port of Spain is a city in need of attention. This is supposed to be the gem of the capital of our country. This is supposed to be the gem of activity. Instead, if you look around Port of Spain today, it's close, very close to a slum. We have to change this, and we will change this with the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago as the next government of Trinidad and Tobago. The question is, are the people ready for this change? Are you ready to change around things in Trinidad and Tobago, or do you wish for things to remain the way they are? We're going to ask people over the next few minutes what they think of the chances are for the Democratic Party in the next 2015 general election.
I know this is one of all elections coming here.
So you tell me something. What do you think about this 2015 general election?
As a man doesn't really deal up in the politics thing.
It could be a close race
A close race?
between the UNC and PNM.
Tell me something. For this 2015 general election, is this very important to you?
Yes.
It is, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So honestly, right now, I can't even say because I don't know what it is. This country, they're confused. I don't know what's wrong with this government. They're promising you stuff and you're not seeing nothing. So it doesn't make no sense I vote.
But if you had a viable third party, a party that was going to be was different from the government and the PNM and the UNC, would you vote for that third party?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, I will go for the viable thing.
There is a third party called the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago. Are you aware of that party?
Not really. I heard about it, but not really to find out, get full details or information about it.
Well, that party is on Gayelle every evening from 6:30 in the afternoon
Okay.
and from 10 a.m.
No, like, I don't pick up Gayelle for 3 years update.
But it's also on YouTube.
YouTube, well, that's no problem. I could go up on
So
YouTube and check it
YouTube
out.
and search for DPTT.
Alright.
And I am saying to you, because I'm the leader of the Democratic Party,
Okay.
that the Democratic Party is the only hope if you have to get away from where we are today.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Pleasure meeting you. Well, thank you very much for this.
No problem. You're welcome.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. Move and use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out.
You all know anything about the general election?
No. All I know I want Kamala to win. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come.
I want Kamala.
You're voting, vote them out. Vote them out.
Tell me something. If you had a choice between the two major political parties and a viable third option, would you consider the third option?
given the state of the 2 years.
Given the state of the 2 years?
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, but not really. I don't really pay much attention.
But have you ever heard of the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago? You never heard of Steve Alvarez and the DPTT?
Steve, no, I don't take on that too much.
The Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago is a viable third option. They have a website, www.dptt.org. They're on YouTube and they're on Gayelle, the station. They're on there every evening from 6:30. So instead of watching the Crime Watch program and so on, you can just switch to Gayelle and you will see about the Democratic Party. Would that be interesting to you?
6:30?
6:30.
No problem.
Yes. Is the 2015 general election important to you?
Yes, it is actually.
It is. And tell me something, if you had a choice between the two major political parties and a third option, would you be considering the third option?
I'm not sure. I can't vote yet.
I just want Kamala to win.
No.
So you would stay with one of the two major political parties? If you had a choice between the two major political parties and a third option, would you consider the third option?
Of course.
What is the major reason for that?
Well, I would consider based on what they have to offer. You know, because for so many years we've only had two parties basically running the country, and it's time for us to, you know, just look at another option.
Do you know anything about the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes.
Well, that's very good. So would you be considering the Democratic Party as part of that choice?
Yes.
That's very good. Well, hopefully we can share the word. The Democratic Party is on Gayelle TV. Do you know that?
Yes.
And they're also on YouTube.
I know that.
But that's fantastic. So let's hope that you continue to share the good word about the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago.
And then watch me. Then the two parties usually play the plane thing. They're supposed to stop fighting amongst one another and seek the public interest that we're going on in this country, and it's still going on already. Crimes, murders, robberies, everything. And that is supposed to just stop. They're supposed to know what's right for the public people first. Not themselves first, like to fight amongst one another in the parliament and call them one set of names and all them things. They're supposed to stop that. They're supposed to know the people come first, the people who are elected there to come first. To get to be the better.
Excellent.
But they ain't doing that. They're fighting amongst one and backbiting and calling out people kind of rational names and all them that way. That ain't called for.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time.
All right.
Thank you. Would you consider that third option?
It might well, depending on what they bring to the table, I guess I might take into consideration depending on what they bring to the table.
But what is important to me is how would you know what they bring to the table? What media would you listen to, or do you normally check with to find out more?
Well, I'm more or less like how you're in tongue like this here. Probably like if they're in tongue and I pass in, but I wouldn't really like go and tune into anything to really listen to, hear about politics or anything like that though.
Do you check the internet on YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, the DPTT is on YouTube. Would you check DPTT and you can see all the episodes? Would you be interested in doing that?
No, I wouldn't be interested in doing that.
So you wouldn't be checking on that way? So in other words, you're not going to look for anything political?
No.
So it has to be almost run down your throat there.
Well, I don't come across it really. Like, if I come across it and I see something that pull my interest, then maybe yeah, but other than that...
What would pull your interest? What will interest you as a young person?
Something to motivate the youths, like to have a positive side, you know, so like some job-wise probably, or even spiritually wise, emotionally wise, something that could encourage you to like change, bring a kind of positive change within the our country. Yeah.
What sort of positive change would you be looking for?
Well, I'm more like home, like when the problem start at home, right? So I'm a home person, so like something that could affect the family, you know, fathers, mothers, single fathers, all them kind of stuff. Like most of the problems, they start from home, right? So I want to see things that could really affect the home positively, right? So and that's inside. So once it starts inside on the inside, it comes out on the outside, right? So yeah, once I see something affecting from the starting.
Well, fantastic. I tell you what, this program, the Democratic Party Speaks, is on YouTube, but it's also on Gayelle.
Okay.
So if you tune in, like this program would air I think on Wednesday at 6:30, check it out and see if you are interested in what this viable third option for the election is. If you had a third option, if you had a third party to choose from, would you consider a third party?
It depends on what the portfolio is about.
Yeah, but have you ever heard anything about the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago?
No.
Yeah, they're on Gayelle every evening from say 6:30. Would you be looking at that?
I don't get Gayelle.
You
I
don't
don't
get
have
Gayelle?
cable.
On Gayelle,
Yeah. Huh?
who is the head of this party?
Yeah, Channel 7,
Yeah, but I don't get that. I don't have cable.
Who is the head?
of the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
Steve Alvarez. You ever heard of Steve Alvarez?
No.
You never heard the name Steve Alvarez?
Yes.
You heard the name?
Yes.
So do you think he's a viable alternative?
I don't know.
You're not sure yet?
No.
So you need to hear a lot more about the Democratic Party.
I
to
am
make
an
up your mind.
undecided vote.
You're undecided vote.
Yeah.
So if you hear something that makes sense, you will eventually
Yeah,
go
if
there.
it makes sense, yeah. If it makes sense.
Yes. Excellent. Well, that's very excellent to hear.
Yeah.
Vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be only full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change should come about. Just as how you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they don't see, vote them out. Stain your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy. Vote them out.
Tell me something. If there was a third party that was offering a plan to take us forward, would you be considering that third party?
Most likely, 100%.
Well, have you ever heard of the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago?
No, never heard of
There is
it.
a party called the Democratic Party, DPTT. They're
Okay.
on Gayelle every evening from 6:30.
Okay.
And on 10 a.m. on Gayelle as well. But they're also on YouTube. Would
Okay.
you be interested in checking it out?
Yeah, I'm interested in
So check
everything.
it out. Check out Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago on YouTube
Okay.
and so on. And hopefully they could answer all the questions that you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stain your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy. Vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out of power. Dominate your reign. Let's put our country together again.
My choice is
Why?
well, to be truthful, Dr. Keith Rowley, as a guy, I really like how he does conduct it as a man. Forget about politics and everything, but you see as a gentleman, he does conduct it in a most, you know what I mean, a kind of straight up kind of way there. You know, because all people have a kind of way now, they always want something for nothing. So they content with just give me this, give me that. I figure we shouldn't run the country yet.
But tell me something. Have you ever heard of the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about
You
it.
never heard of Steve Alvarez?
I heard it, I hear his name.
You hear the name, but you've never seen
I
the
never-
person or
I
anything
never
like
seen
that.
the person.
Well, you should check out the Democratic Party. They're Gayelle at 6:30 every evening. And they're also
Gayelle, you said?
Gayelle,
Yeah.
6:30 every evening. Monday, Wednesday and Friday actually.
Alright.
From 6:30 and Tuesday and Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
But they're also on YouTube. Right?
No, but I ain't too knowledgeable with YouTube and Facebook and all this other thing. I could tune into Gayelle and have a, you know what I mean?
Take a look.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome, my brother. Enough strength to you all.
Tell me something. Is the 2015 general election important to you?
Not really.
It is?
Not really.
Not really. It's important to you? Not really. If you had a choice between the two major political parties and a third option, would you consider the third option? So if it's the same policies and so on, you would not change. I agree with you because it makes no sense changing for something that's the same.
Yeah.
But have you ever heard of the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Democratic Party? Just hold for a second, huh?
No. I can't do that. I'm working with people.
Young people like you can always go on YouTube and pick up all of the programs. All of the episodes are on YouTube and you should really look at it. Would you be interested?
I'll take a look at it because
All
we
right,
should have
and
a
see
say.
if the message is what you want to hear.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
We're talking about the next election, the 2015 general election. Tell me something. If the 2015 general election, if you had a choice between a third party, between the two major parties and a viable third party, would you vote for that third party?
No.
So you don't think so?
No.
Why?
What party?
Or you have a party that you're supporting?
Yes.
Would you consider that third option?
I may not consider that you have two parties. Choose only two parties, two main parties.
So you think you'll choose some within the two?
Two main parties.
So
Yes.
it doesn't matter what the third option says.
Well, I have to hear it and see it and whatever.
But do you know anything about the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago? Gayelle. On Gayelle station, 6:30.
6:30 today?
No, Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
Go for the laptops.
No, I never heard about it, but first time probably.
Well, they're on Gayelle the station from
Okay.
6:30 every evening, and
Okay.
they're on YouTube, and they're also on the internet.
Okay, all right, okay.
So perhaps you should check a little bit on the Democratic Party.
Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a nice day, sir.
Yeah, the elections is important.
But based on the way it is right now, if you had a third party apart from the two major political parties, would you consider it?
Third party? I find the third party that mean working man. The two major pulling everything.
The two major?
Yeah.
So
But the third
have
party,
you made up your mind as to which one you'll be going to already?
yeah, I make up my mind. But I wanna.
No, you don't have to tell me who it is, but
I mean, I see the government. I mean, they're doing things. They always have areas where the laps and they could have done better and stuff like that. But I mean, I see they're working, but.
All right.
You know, politicians in the whole, but I find the government working on.
Okay.
They're doing things.
All
All
right,
right, yeah, take it easy. Yeah?
What the options are for this 2015 general election? While a lot of people are thinking of going where they traditionally vote, we found that there are quite a few people who would go for a third option. What is definitely needed is for the message to get around to them. It's been very clear that a lot of people don't know that the Democratic Party's vision is on the internet, and that the Democratic Party, in many instances, a lot of people don't even know that the party exists. Now, in a democratic society like Trinidad and Tobago, where the news is about all of the political parties, one would think that you would see something in it. Because we have not put systems in place to give our children the sort of confidence that they ought to have in the government of Trinidad and Tobago. So the Democratic Party is saying to you that these are issues that we have to deal with. We cannot continue to go down the same road. We cannot have villages and towns without fire stations. We cannot have a situation where when someone see a crime going on, they call the police and they say, I can't respond at this time. The bandits cannot continue to have all that power over our lives. It cannot happen. It must not happen. How could this change? How can we change all of these negatives in our society? I tell you what, it cannot change if you continue doing the same thing you've done over all the years. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. And let me repeat that. To get something you never had, you have to do something that you never did. And that something that you never did is vote for a third party like the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago. So if you want a new nation, if you want to see agriculture structured and planned, if you want to see your economy revive, if you want to be able to walk safely again, if you want to see your schools clean and your cafeterias going on, if you want to see new roads and highways, and if you want to see a train system, if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, you have to do something you never did. And that is to vote for the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago. Forget the old talk. Forget whether it's Alvarez alone. It's a sad thing if it's Alvarez alone. It has to be Alvarez and you. So if it's me and you alone, then me and you alone is what it would take to change this. Please, for your children's sake, for your family's sake, for Trinidad and Tobago's sake, for racial unity, for harmony in our country, for peace, for prosperity, for strategic planning for generations to come, please think about what you're about to do this 2015 general election. Think about doing something that you never did. Talk to someone. Share this video on YouTube. This should be viral. Every Trinidad and Tobago citizen, whether you live in Trinidad or abroad, should be sharing this and say, listen man, we have to wake up. We cannot say, I am PNM till I dead, or I am UNC till I die. You cannot do that because you will die and your family will die in hopelessness. I tell you something. If you told anyone in the world 2 years before Barack Obama was president of the United States, if you told anyone in the world that the United States of America was going to elect an African American president for the first time, they would say, oh, we're not saying it can't happen, but not now. We're not ready. But it happened. It happened because the people were about to do something they never did. And a lot of people felt, you know what? Perhaps it was a mistake and he can't win a second term. But what did they do? They consolidated and they voted Barack Obama for a second term to show the world that they have passed that stage. We in Trinidad and Tobago have to pass the stage of PNM-UNC. We have to pass the stage of saying that this place is Indian African and Indian time and African time now. We have to pass that stage. And the only option, look around you, listen to the political parties that are presenting themselves, listen to what they're saying, and you would know in your heart that the only option is the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago. Because no other political party have been coming to you with the little that they have and saying this is the policy for agriculture, this is a policy for tourism, this is a policy to deal with crime. No other political parties have been doing that. Instead you're hearing the same old, same old. So we've paused tonight to talk to you. To talk to you in a one-on-one in your heart and say to you, if you care about your family, you care about your country, to consider the Democratic Party of Trinidad and Tobago. That's what tonight's show is all about. Are you willing to do that? Are you ready to do that? Or are you going to continue where you are perhaps most comfortable? And I tell you something. As long as you don't, if you were to ever not vote the Democratic Party, if you were to ever continue along the path, know that as the sun rises tomorrow morning, that you would continue to hear people going to hospitals and can't find beds. You will continue to hear police complaining that they don't have vehicles. You will continue to hear a big political party and I'm talking about big development when they clean a beach. You see politicians taking the media down to the beach and say, we clean up the beach. Or you'll hear a political party saying, guess what? We built a fire station in Mayaro. Ladies and gentlemen, building a fire station in Mayaro is not an accomplishment. There should be fire stations in every village and town in Trinidad and Tobago. That's what we must have. Clean up a beach is not a big thing. Every beach in Trinidad and Tobago ought to be clean. And when you talk, how can you talk about building a causeway and making a causeway to Chaguaramas before you talk about a mass transit system to improve the congestion on roads? How can you do that? But that is what you will get if you continue to look at the parties that are presenting themselves as the major parties of Trinidad and Tobago. But worse yet, worse than all of that, if you continue down this road, you are going to continue. You are taking a deliberate step to divide our nation by race. Because you know, don't fool yourselves. Do not fool yourselves. You know and I know and every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago know that these political parties are race-based. You know that. Don't fool yourself. It's Indian time and African time. And if you decide to vote for these political parties, you are contributing to that division. And I make no apologies for saying that. You are contributing to destroying the fabric of our nation. So the Democratic Party is giving you that option. Get away from that. Change and vote DPTT. Join with me. Let's hold hands. join with me in presenting a viable alternative to the parties that seek to destroy us. Until next time, this is Steve Alvarez saying, may God bless Trinidad.